Hey folks, welcome back to another video of the Flutter Development course brought to you by Newton School. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Harsh Kumar Khatri and I'll be your instructor for this Flutter course. I am currently working as an intern at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and I have been an ex-Flutter developer intern at AppScript where my primary goal was to develop Flutter applications. I am also an instructor on Udemy and Eduonix where I have more than 10,000 enrollments on my Flutter courses. For those of you who are wondering what Newton School is, so basically Newton School is a platform to learn and develop your skills that you need for your best tech career. There are courses specifically designed for freshers, working professionals, and women with no prior experience in tech. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you develop a full stack developer. It also has a network of more than 300 great companies who hire directly from Newton School. So once the training is complete, Newton School also ensures that you are placed with one of the best companies in the country. There is also a pay after placement program where you don't have to pay Newton School anything until you get placed with a minimum CTC of 5 lakh rupees per annum. They also have an awesome initiative known as Launchpad where they provide some of their courses free of cost with an editor where you can practice and work on those courses. Apart from that, you will also be getting a certificate of completion once you have completed those courses. So make sure to check Newton School and Launchpad out through the link given in the description. Now coming to the today's video. So in today's video, we'll be developing two basic apps which many of the Flutter developers make when they are starting with Flutter. So the first one is the basic stateful app where we'll be displaying Hello World. As you may know that Hello World is the thing which most of the developers do, or the code for which most of the developers write when they are starting with any of the language. So we'll also be doing the same. We'll be making an Hello World app where we'll be showing Hello World text in the center of the screen. The next app which we'll be working on is a counter app. So whenever we create a new Flutter project, it provides us with some bare bone code. So we'll be developing that app totally from scratch. So let me switch back to the editor and let's create a Flutter project so that we can start with both the app creation. So here you can see that I have opened my VS Code. Now I'll be creating a new Flutter project in it by by clicking Ctrl Shift P. It has opened a new Flutter application in the top. I'll be clicking on it and I'll be selecting a new folder for my Flutter application. I generally keep all my projects related to VS Code under this Flutter projects folder. And as this is related to Newton School, let me store it under Newton School projects. And selecting the folder, I'll be naming it as Hello World app. One more thing which you need to remember, that when you are trying to name your Flutter app, you cannot add capital letters or any other letters except for any other characters except for the words, numbers, and these underscore. So make sure to name your app correctly, clicking on enter. Now it will be taking some time for creating my Flutter project, so let's wait until then. Yeah, so the video was removed by mistakenly. Yeah, so now it's back. So in the bottom output you can see that all of these things are created when you are making your first Flutter app or whenever you are making a new Flutter app. So these all things are created from the Flutter SDK, which we have stored and seen how we can set up the Flutter SDK in previous video. So here you can see that the project is ready. Now let me switch back the screen. Yeah, so now you can see that the project has is ready to work. So let me run the project once. One more thing, let me show you some of the basic things which you need to remember when you are working with your Flutter project in VS Code. So here you can see that this is the code structure or the basic architecture of the Flutter application, all the files which are present. I'll be covering more about each of this folder, directory, and the files which are present in the next video. So we'll be seeing three different types of architectures which are present in Flutter. Here you can see that the code for the main.dart file, you can open the files. Next we have the different tabs over here. One is for problems, output, debug console, and terminal. So problem will be showing you all the problems which are currently occurring in your Flutter app, like the screen could be overflowing or some things or some variables could be missing, so it will be showing you the problems over here. Next we have the output. So whenever you are running or you are making a Flutter app, it will be showing your output over here. Also when you are adding some new packages in Flutter, then the output for that packages being installed successfully will also be shown over here. Next we have this debug console. So whenever you will be running your Flutter app in the debug mode, then all the thing related to that debug console will be shown over here. Let me run the app until I am explaining things. Yeah, and next thing is the terminal. So you must be familiar with the basic terminal which we are having. So here we can run Flutter commands, or we can run the git commands to store our Flutter app on GitHub. Apart from these four tabs, we also have some of the things over here. So some things might be missing, like this Prettier plugin must be missing for you, or this XD plugin must be missing for you. I have installed all these plugins like extensions from the extension tab which is present over here, but this tab must be this option will be present for all of you. So from this option you can select from all of the emulators or all of the devices which are currently available for you or are connected with your PC. So I have my mobile connected, and apart from that I have some other mobile emulators. Which I can use, or which I can start for running my Flutter app. I also have two web browsers installed, so it is also showing me options for those, so that I can run my Flutter app on web through these two browsers which are available over here. But for now, as I'm also recording, so that's why I'm using an external device. I have already explained you why you should prefer an external device and how it can help you save memory to an extent and result in smooth developing. So that's why. Now let's wait for the app to run first. Let's go through the code until the app is running. So here you can see that we have an import statement. So basically this is for importing all the material packages or material resources from the Flutter SDK. So that's why we have added material.dart over here. So if you have checked out previous videos, I have also told you one more thing is there apart from this material, which is mostly used for the iOS apps. So if you remember that, then make sure to comment them down below. But if you don't remember them, then those are the Cupertino.dart file or Cupertino resources which are available or which we use when we are developing the iOS part of our app, or when we want to implement some feature related to iOS inside our app. Next we have this main function and this run app function. So one interview question which comes particularly related to these both is that which of these will be running first. So this has been asked from many people, and I have got to know from many people that they mess up saying that the run app will be running first and then this my app or this main function will be running. But the truth is that firstly the main function will be executed, then the run app function will be executed, and through this run app function all the classes which we are having over here, this my app class is there and this my homepage class is there, then these classes will be displayed, or the UI for these will be laid out on the screen. So first the main class will be running and then the run app and the different classes which are present. Next we have some classes in our app which are used for like adding the backend or for adding the UI inside our app. You can see that the my app class is present. Inside we have a build widget, and which is returning a material app. So we can also make it as Cupertino app, but I'm keeping it as default for now. We can add a title, theme, primary source color to it. Primary source color is basically this color. You can see that blue. The default color for the app will be the primary source color. Next we have the home. So inside the material app we need to pass the home screen, which will be displaying as soon as the app is opening. So that's why I have passed that's why the default code has passed the my home page screen, which is basically this part of our app. This is the my home page class which is present over here. So that is the home screen of our app. Now as the app has loaded, so for now that this class we won't be discussing for now, as I'll be creating this class totally from scratch in the later part of this video. Let's first work on making the stateful app or the first basic app, that is the Hello World app. So for that I'll be removing this my homepage class from here. First, yes, now removing this class from here. You can see that as soon as I have removed it, it has shown me an error over here that my homepage class is missing. Now if you are using any of the code editor from VS Code or Android Studio, then you have to type STL, and it will be providing you with an options to either choose from a stateful widget or a stateless widget. So I'll be choosing stateless widget over here, as we don't need any of the states inside our app, and we basically want to display some data. and I'll be naming it as my home page only. Next, removing this title from here as we are not accepting any title inside our screen. Next, inside this stateful widget we have this constant over here. This is basically the constructor for the my home page. If we are passing anything from this my home page class over here, then we need to add some variables inside this constructor to receive those things and assign those things inside the variables. Next, we have this build statement over here, or build widget, which will be building everything which we want to display inside this class, and it is returning a container. For now, I'll be replacing it with an scaffold, and inside the scaffold we have an app bar. App bar is basically this top section of our app, so this is known as app bar. In this app bar I'll be adding a title, so title takes a widget, so I'll be passing a type of text over here, and inside it I'll be passing hello world app. Now moving towards the body part of our scaffold, so scaffold takes a body as well. Inside it I'll be passing center, and this center will be having a child of type text which will be displaying hello world. Adding commas, yeah, saving it. Now you can see that as soon as I have saved it, hot reload occurred, and the things have been changed inside the app, and the changes have taken place. You can see that in the app bar it is displaying hello world app, and inside the screen in the center it is displaying hello world. So this was the basic app, like the first app which people develop when they are starting with Flutter. There are various different things inside this scaffold which you can do, like there is bottom present, some actions are present inside the app bar. You can hover over it to get the basic idea of what all things are present inside it. Like you can add the floating action buttons inside it, you can add persistent footbar buttons. We'll be covering all of these things like one by one as soon as we are proceeding with our future videos. Now let's start with the second part of our video, which is the counter app that we'll be developing totally from scratch. So I'll be removing this part of the code as it is very basic for any one of you to develop. So there are two ways for starting with developing the counter app which we are developing. So the first one could be that you can type STF and then click on enter, or click on this option which will be displaying you with the basic widget or the basic stateful widget, boilerplate code for the basic stateful widget, and then you can add a name for your class over here, and then you can start developing with the direct build function or the build widget for this my homepage state class. The second one is that we can develop all this code from scratch, so I'll be developing all of it from scratch so that you also can get a basic idea of how the code looks and how we can develop the thing. So the first thing which we need is a class of my home page which will be extending a stateful widget. Inside it we have to pass a constructor for this. It will be having a key of name key, and if we want we can add a title as well, but I am skipping the title for now. And then we need to add a super for the key which will be a key. Next, creating this, next we have to create an override function for the my homepage state. So it will be an override and underscore my homepage state, creating the state for it which will be used throughout our app, and it will be equals to my page state only. Next we need to create the next part of our app, that is the my homepage state class. So underscore my homepage state, it will be extending the my homepage state. So state, passing it as my homepage. So basically this is for assigning like what type of data this state is having. So it is having the type of my home page, so that's why it is passed inside this arrow brackets. So you can see that it is still showing us an error. The reason being that Flutter has recently released an update which is for null safety. So if there are some null things which are present in our app or can be present in our app, so that's why it will be showing you an error. So let's make it null safe. So we have to add a null checker. It will be checking if the value of this key is equals to null or not. And apart from that, we can also remove this and add const over here. And after this const, we can add my home page. Now it is still showing us an error because we haven't added a build function inside it yet. So let's start with the build function. So it will be of a type override. It needs to be override, and inside it we'll be having a widget build. It will be taking build context, name of it which will be name of which will be context only, and it will be returning and scaffold as we did in the previous hello world app, adding a semicolon at last. So you can see that the error has gone away. Now let me save it and show you how the app looks when we haven't added anything inside it. So you can see over here that it is displaying a black screen. Now let's start working on the counter app. So first I need to initialize a variable with the name of counter, which will be set to 0 first. So I have added an underscore over here to assign this counter variable as a private so that it can be accessible inside this my homepage class only. Next we need to create a function with the name of void underscore increment, which will be increment it needs to be, which will be incrementing the value of this counter by 1 each time when we are triggering this function. So it will be setting the state of this counter variable, and underscore counter variable will be increased by 1 in each time when this function is triggered. Now let's start with the UI part, and then we'll be integrating both the functions and the UI. So first adding an app bar, and it will be having a title as text only, and this text will be displaying counter app. Next, inside the body in the center we'll be having a child which will be of a type text, and it will be displaying the counter value is, and then we'll be adding a dollar underscore counter, and this dollar symbol we can pass the value of the variable directly inside the text widget. And there are chances that it may show you with an error of that this int variable cannot be passed inside the text as a string, so we can add .toString along with it. If it is showing us an error, let me save it and see if the counter variable is occurring. Yeah, so the counter variable is occurring over here. It is currently 0. Now let's add a button which will be clicked and through which we'll be triggering this increment function. So I'll be adding a floating action button which will be having a floating action button widget, and on press what we want to do is we want to trigger this increment function. The icon for this floating action button, let me see what all properties it is having. So for the child of this floating action button I'll be passing an icon. Yeah, so inside this icon I have passed icons.add, and let me save it. It will be appearing. Yeah, so it has appeared. Now when we'll be clicking on this button one by one, the value of the counter will be changing. Let me open debug console. So I have restarted the app as well. Now whenever I'll be clicking this floating action button, the value of this counter will be increasing by 1, and as we have used the set state over here, so it will be updated dynamically throughout the app, and the changes will be taking place inside this text variable as well. So let me click the floating action button. So here you can see that as soon as I am clicking a floating action button, the value of the counter is increasing by 1. We can add some more functionalities over here as well, like we can decrement the value by 1, or we can change the value twice as soon as a button is clicking. So for decrementing a value, let me add another function over here. What we have to do is copy this, paste, and it needs to be underscore DEC, and then decreasing the value by 1. And apart from here, apart from this, we can change this to DEC and saving it. So hot reload will take place, and now when we'll be clicking this button, it is still increasing the value. Now by mistake I have changed the value of this increment to be minus minus and DEC to be plus plus. Let me change this back, plus again, saving it. Yeah, so now the things will be working fine. You can see that as soon as I'm clicking it, the value is decreasing by 1. So this was for the basic Flutter app, the basic boilerplate or the bare bone Flutter project which gets created whenever we are starting or whenever we are developing a Flutter app inside our IDE. So yeah, this was for this video. And also, if you got to learn something new from this video, then make sure to drop a like. Also comment down what was the best part you got to learn from this video. Share this video with the people in your community who are talking about Flutter or who want to learn Flutter. Apart from that, subscribe to this channel to not to miss any of the videos which are being posted related to this course, as the videos are being posted on every alternate day. So make sure to subscribe so that you get the update of those videos, and then you can watch those. Also make sure to check out Newton School through the link given in the description, and also Launchpad as well. In the next video, we'll be seeing various different types of architectures which are present in Flutter, like the basic Flutter architecture, the intermediate Flutter architecture, and the advanced Flutter architecture. So also make sure to check that video out as well. And thank you for watching this video.